Chokyi. Kanan jando. Also here. Are you ready? In ando calmness. They did this. One thing. Good morning. How are you? Today's weather is not very good today. Yeah. Are you ready? Oh, sorry. Good morning. Kyoncho Sencho Rinpoche Ma Ye Pa Na Ye Jorji Ye Pa Nyamba Ne Pa Goni Gondam Pera Hyo Susundunga Jendra Che Jin Chen Nyaso Me Pon Hyewa Jala So Semchen Tang De Nyer De Dong Chen Tamba Nam Jenun To Tsar De So all the sentient beings may be free from the suffering. May all the sentient beings to achieve for everlasting happiness of the Buddhahood. And this kind of form called the compassion take in our mind. It is very important. We call the Bodhicitta. Yesterday it says it's good heart, warm-hearted. Warm-hearted is the principal path of the Buddha. And warm-hearted, it is the principal daily practice of the Buddhist. And also good heart or the compassion with the four boundless qualities, or compassion endowed four boundless qualities. That is the crucial point, the 84,000 of the 3 times the Buddha, past, present, futures. And if you want to establish enlightenment, impossible thoughts or the single path, that is the compassion. And if you haven't got these single thoughts of the compassion, of the kindness, almost the same as the equivalent of the missing or the crucial point of the Buddha's teaching. Therefore, it is very important to generate Bodhicitta, which is the precious and supreme and jewel, the source of all the happiness, antidote for all our sufferings, the purifier of all the obscuration. That is we call the Bodhicitta. So we should practice and special methods for making the precious, sublime Bodhicitta arise where it has not yet come to be. For the preventing it decline, when it has arisen, and for the making it is not fail, it flourish more and more. This sort of way is very important. But firstly, and take the place Bodhicitta, and it says that the precious, absolutely sublime. In order to sentient beings attain Buddhahood, and this sort of we need wish, aspiration, the thoughts of wish that all sentient beings attain Buddhahood. Then that thoughts, precious thoughts, sublime thoughts, to make the great methods and making it is like kind of arise where it has not yet come to be, as I said, then we need to training our minds for boundless qualities. And now we are in the Arousing Bodhicitta chapter, quoting the word of my perfect teacher, the Gonzon Lam Shalom, the inner preliminary practice. The Arousing Bodhicitta itself has 3 main chapters. The training mind in the 4 boundless qualities, or 4 immeasurement, or 4 in limitless thoughts. And second is the arousing Bodhicitta, the mind turned towards sublime enlightenment. Third is the mind training with the Bodhicitta like a precept related to the aspiration Bodhicitta, the Bodhicitta of the applications. We are the stay in the training our mind with 4 boundless qualities. And we are on the last chapter, the boundless qualities of compassion. And compassion is finished, yes, not compassion. Today we are rejoicing in the sympathetic rejoice. And that is like yesterday we stopped, there is one paragraph. It's talking about the 6 monks, 1 messenger, and then with the boat driver. Here it's talking about the good heart. And if you have good heart, and also it is like we are studied the 4 boundless qualities is the finished. But here is like more explained the resuming of the 4 boundless qualities. That's like the unification of the 4 boundless qualities is good heart, kindness, concerning benefits. Therefore, there's many different histories. Today we are more listen to study the 6 monks, 1 passenger, and a boat diver. These 8 persons' histories, how it is. On another occasion, 6 monks and a messenger board a ferry boat to cross the river Jasakos. This boat stations. In Tibet, there is the 4 measure of the river, and ancient times there is not very much bridge, and all the times you need boat. This boat is made by the yak leather, very dangerous, not very safe. Many people died. Like this. Then is the boat set off from the bank of the river, about a quarter of the way across. Quarter, not the half. The boatman said, "We are too heavy. 8 people is normally impossible to carry my boat. If anybody knows how to swimming, if someone can swimming, please jump in the water, because this boat is very heavy. If not, I will jump in the myself, and one of you can take the oars." It's like kind of the machine, or it's like to mover of the boat. There is like some sticks. But of course, none of them, the 6 monks and the messengers, cannot do nothing, cannot swim, cannot take the oars. None of them knew how to swim, but none of them knew how to roll these oars either. So the messenger jumped out of the boat, crying, "It is better for me to die alone than for everybody to die." And this messenger, it has such good heart, because 6 monks they coming together traveling. If someone died, they become very sad. Boat driver die, maybe it's like make big problems, difficult to cross this big river. Then messenger, "I'm just alone." Of course, maybe he has some family, but that moment he's alone. "Better I will die, other can be safe." He's shouting, cry, and to say, "I will jump into water. Better to die, I'm alone." He jumped. Immediately, a rainbow appeared. Wonderful. A rain of the sky flowers fell. Even though the messenger did not know how to swim, but certainly helped by his good thoughts. Immediately, like kind of the result. It's wonderful. He was carried safely on the shore of the other side. He had never practiced Dharma. That is the point. Someone's practiced Dharma years, decade and decade. Nothing result. Why? Because of the lack of the compassion. If you're serious, honest, determinedly to practice, really to have, or precious this jewel of the thoughts of the good heart, it doesn't matter you practice Dharma or not, immediately result is there. that we need to make notice in our minds, or this kind of the teaching, the form should it take in our minds forever. All the times, through the mindfulness vigilant, remind to us Bodhicitta. Look how it's a wonderful histories. It is truth. If someone is practice kindness, compassion, absolutely you are superiors. No doubt. For example, everybody's, I think this is, from my perspective, it doesn't matter you are the name of the Lama or Rinpoche or teacher, Khenpo, or high holiness. If there's no compassion, I haven't got any faith, devotion. It doesn't matter you are weak, stupid a little bit, not that understanding Dharma, but you have fully good-hearted, that is my teacher. That person is my deity. I can take refuge in this person immediately. Prostrate, really to bow the feet of these persons. Compassion is the extraordinary. Look, this kind of his stories. Compassions. In our families, someone's kindness, compassion, concerning all the families. They put the higher the other families, pray, give, generosity, practice patience, and stop the giving harsh word, criticism. That is in our families jewel. It's very rare, this kind of families. Someone has a good heart. It's wonderful. This was the immediate benefit coming from a single good thoughts. Absolutely truth. Good thoughts all the times. It's wonderful. Most Buddhist like kind of the peoples, they're running after the lamas, practitioners, monks, nuns. Why they are doing honors, prestations, respect? Because of the compassion. Only compassion. Only compassion. Nothing else. How it is that the path and the levels are the bad. This is like kind of the above. Good hearts, good path, good bhumis. Now it's talking about the bad heart, is the bad path and bad like kind of the bhumis. How is that the path and levels are bad if the thoughts are bad? There was a beggar who, as he was lying on the gateway of the royal palace, of course homeless, was thinking, I wish that the king would have his head cut off and I would take his place. That is his dream. Of course, sometimes we have this kind of dreams, causing the jealousy, causing the anger, causing the desire attachment. It is all the times we have this kind of ugly thoughts. This sort of thoughts making a lot of problems. Almost difficult to be enjoy in this life. Look at some of our peoples. They are quite okay. Food, clothes, shelter. There's nothing problems. But they have this kind of ideas. Lot of idea of the jealousy. This person's like this, that person is like this. I cannot. I want to become the top of. If I want to do like this, I will be top of. If I can't, I'm angry, sad, depressed, anxieties. Difficult to sleep. Day and night would crying. And also quoting the angers, desire attachment, whatever we have, no choice. For example, if you have good family, they all the time is no satisfaction. Criticize, my family all the time complain. And also maybe they have everything, but they all the time say, I haven't got nothing, I haven't got nothing. Some young millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, they all the time say, I haven't, nothing, broken. I will have problems. These sort of people never happy in this world. This life is not happy, next life is also not happy. But some is like opposite. Very much delightful mind, cheerful, whatever they have, satisfied. Not much jealousy, not much anger, not much disattachment. Whatever they have, they can to share the family, they can share to the friend. It's wonderful. And all the times when you ask, how are you? Yeah, good, fine. Never complain. Even it's like someone's death process start. How are you? Are you going to die? Yeah. And this is why not? This is not my part of the life. Why I need to complain? Wonderful. This sort of someone has a good heart. Doesn't matter you are rich, you are happy. It doesn't matter you are poor, you are happy. It doesn't matter you have high position, happy. It doesn't matter you have a low position, it doesn't matter. All the timers, spacious mind. In Tibet we say, Kyung Lod Desi. Kyung means an open mind. Lod Desi, all the time is comfortable. For example, they are alive. They are very kind. They have very good relationship with parents, with children, with families. They support each other through the good heart. But if there's something, separations, maybe some family lost, maybe died, they never cries. There is no kind of the regret. This kind of something happened. You know, in Tibet, there is one song saying, families is like same as the top of trees bird nest. First times two birds coming together make a wonderful nest, saved. Then they have few eggs, their chicks coming out. They're like wild, there's maybe 5 family, 4, 6, 10, doesn't matter. But slowly, one by one, fly away. Finally, nest is become empty. That is the kind of impermanent. It is our realities. You cannot be forever together. That understand. But how long have you been together? Very important to have good heart, to take care, to give love, to kindness. It is virtue. It is dharma. Very much. All the times criticize each other, dispute between the families, and all the time is like kind of be nasty each other. Then certainly you lost, died, then it's funny. And then they cry, is absolutely nonsense. Someone has a good heart, it's like all the time is together is happy. There's something impermanent demonstrate. They never cry. Understood the impermanent realities. Wherever good heart is be, wonderful for your benefit, for others. Therefore, bad heart is like this. And this thought was continually going around in his mind all night long, whole night. This poor beggar, he's like kind of impossible things is thinking. Of course, even this king has died. How he can to get? But this kind of stupid. I make joke all the times. I say it's like I'm sad. I'm not happy. I'm depressed. I'm like kind of the really want to cry. So someone say, why? Because I can't get the job of the Belgian kings. This is like impossible things to way of thinking. This and that kind of thoughts immediately to get rid and to more connect to the compassion kindness, more you can to rest, you can to sleep, you can to make harmony, and also through that how much you making accumulation merit. Like this. Towards morning he fell asleep, and while he was sleeping, the king drove out in his carriage, like kind of the wagon. And ancient times it's like king has this great wagon. King want to go out. One of the wheels rolled over the beggar's neck and cut off his bed. This is like bad hearts. Immediately result is like this. This is obviously, really many times this. For example, myself also have this kind of experience. If you have good thoughts, all the wish, something you want to do automatically. If you have bad thoughts, how much you put effort, it's never succeeded. This is really absolutely truth. And someone is like kind of the carry very bad heart. They practice day and night. They have practiced the deities and practice the channel bindus. And also they complain. I practice many years Hundro. I practice many years some sadhana. I follow up some teachers 25, 30 years. But my activities, my family is more worse and worse. What has happened? Because of the bad thoughts. Absolutely. Finally, we are complaining. We want to give up. And therefore, if you have the good heart, even you are not very much practice, look seemingly lazy, sleeping, eating. Of course, you need to go to toilet. But you don't much practice that things, but all your path is very much flourish. And certainly your mind is become more and more clearly. How it happens, like Bodhisattva Shantideva, like kind of the Asanga, there's many like these messengers. Don't practice Dharma, but certainly good thoughts to bring the state of the Buddhahood. It's wonderful. We should to remind that ourselves all the times about the compassion. And then there's more explanation of this poor beggar's history. It itself has a lot these negative thoughts. Unless you remember the purpose of your question for the Dharma with mindfulness and vigilance, and how many years you are like kind of the study, practice Dharma, and also you are like kind of the practitioner of the Dharma. And according like this, we all the times to check through the mindfulness and the vigilance, and watch your mind all the times. Watch your mind all the times. If you are eating times, if you are asleep times, or you working, or you are sitting any kind of times, day and night, watch your mind by the mindfulness and vigilance. If there is the violent feeling of the attachment and hatred, can easily lead to the accumulation of the very serious negative effects, violent feelings, and just nonsense thoughts is coming according to your attachment. Maybe if you have very strong desire attachment, you have awful violent feeling you have. This violent feeling of the thoughts, the making the accumulation of the very serious negative effects. And also maybe you have like violent thoughts, feeling of the hatred. Even you haven't got an object, maybe something is like beautiful, handsome, or like something, but sometimes it can occur the violent thoughts of the attachment. And also maybe in the like your perspective, there's no enemy, you haven't got any, but sometimes hated. Small things. Even you look at the football match and some like competitions, sports, like boxings, when you see them, you don't know both, but you have the feeling sometimes, hated feeling or attachment feelings. And then you have violent feeling of the attachment and the like kind of the hatred. Then you make the serious negative effect, these negative tendencies. You see very serious negative habitual forming imprinting in our minds. That is like kind of the mind making worse samsaric mind, and through that we are all the times be in the samsara. Although the old beggars, this guy, which could never come true, absolutely, how his wishes become truth. First, king's neck cut off, then he become the king, then he need to rule. It's never ever happened or truth. The result of these thoughts materialized right away, this kind of the immediate retributions occurring. Was likely that the king, if there is something happens, how it is happened? He is sleeping comfortable on his jeweled bed in the palace. How his neck is like cut off. Would lost, he said, is possible. He lost, he died. Even he were to be beheaded, like cut someone's his head. Would it not be more plausible that the crown princes would take over the kingdoms? continues. It's like who can to take rule or the like kind of the representative, the king, princess, prince, princess, king, royal families take them. How he can to get this poor beggar? Even if somehow he did not, maybe some king hasn't got princess or the prince, nor families, something happened, okay? It's not happened. Was there are many kind of the chance. He has many kind of loyalty, prime ministers, like many there are. That is the like kind of the spite of the all the ministers who have like the tigers, leopard, bears. They are very strong, warriors, intelligent. They can take them how the beggar he can to got king's position. Scorburious old beggars, dirty mouth beggar, and smelling mouth old beggar would take over the throne unless you check yourself carefully. If you check yourself, it's impossible ideas. Just your violence feeling like kind of negative habitual forming in punting. Impossible like this kind of. However, even such this is ludicrous. Ludicrous. Ludi or idiots. Huh?
Ludicrous.
Ludicrous. So foolish, exactly the same. And foolish negative thoughts. Ludicrous is foolish, like kind of the very much selfish. Ludicrous negative thoughts was this can arise. It's possible like this kind of. And so, as Geshe Shavupa says, do not rule over imaginary kingdoms of endless proliferating possibilities. One day the like proliferating and this is like a Geshe Shavupa saying, do not rule over imaginary kingdoms of the endless proliferating possibilities, like kind of the impossible things, imagined ideas, never kind of coming the truth. This kind of like kind of do not like a concerning, do not rules, do not follow up this kind of imagination ideas, because it can make a lot of negative effect. One day the Buddha and his monks were invited to receive alms at the home of benefactors. Like ancient times, like this. And Buddha and his retinues monks, they never saved some food thinking about the tomorrows. They all the times thinking about the impermanent, practice Dharma, and the time of the meal arrive, breakfast and the lunch, they used to have like kind of 2 meals per day. In the evening they never eat, and they go to is like begging kind of the alms, and whatever they received that kind of the for the lunch breakfast, then only meditating. And once it's like ancient times, sometimes also some India king or some is like Buddhist countries, they like taking these benefactors taking the responsibilities and says like those practitioners, today I will give food for breakfast, lunch, like this. Therefore, so many benefactors, they invited Buddha and his monks. They did, there's one benefactors. There were also 2 beggars there, or another 2 beggars. One by young, Sharitaya, and the other young Brahmins, like different race, like families, both is like and coming to them. The Brahma went into the big before the Buddha, and the monks had been the service during the like kind of, and sometimes he begged and maybe he received almost nothing before. The beggar is like before the Buddhas and the monks had been the servers, and then like he begged food, but they haven't nothing. He didn't received nothing. The Kashatayana wait until everybody else had been served, and then he received plenty of the food, good food left over from the begging bowls. That afternoon on the road, the 2 of them spoke their thoughts to each other. First one is the Brahm, and then is like the other ones. If I were rich, said the young Kashachari, because he got a lot of food, I would offer cloth and as just food, means to the Buddhas and his monks for the rest of my life. They are so kind, they are wonderful. I have this kind of wish songs. I would honor them by offering everything I had. And other one say, and if I were a powerful king, said the young Brahmin, I'd have that sheaf-headed, means bull-headed, and kind of the big god, head cut off. I want to like kind of big bulls, or like kind of the bull-headed, this Buddha and his monks, I want to cut off their head, and he will whole land execute with him. The Kashachari went to another country after this conversation. who went they both is different way, and the charity or the charity went to another like kind of the country, and he installed himself in the shadows. He's rested or the kind of the sleep in the bush shadow of the trees, great tree. As the shadows of the other trees moved, the shadow of this particularly tree stayed still, protecting this boy of charity. And no, the king, and these areas there's no king, like they are searching for king. Now the king of that country had just died, and since he had no heir, no children, the people had decided that the most meritorious and powerful person in the land would be installed as their king, like kind of they want to colonize, to want to be making the enthronement of the king. Going off the searching everybody's, the new servant, they came upon the young charioteers sleeping under his tree, still in the shade, although midday had long and since passed. They woke him up and made him as a king. This also is like kind of good thought, immediate result. Thereafter, he did his wish, honor to Buddha and his disciples as had wished. Years and years he was sponsored. As for the young Brahmin, the story goes that he lay down at the same as the maybe is the yellow moth or the dirty moth beggars at a cross road to rest, and his head has cut off by the wheel of the passing wagons, some travelers, and he lost his head. He died. What the result, these two boys, because it is good thoughts and the bad thoughts, and this kind of happened. If you learn to always have only kind thoughts, very important, kind thoughts, compassion thoughts, love, sympathetic, impartiality thoughts, all your wishes for this life will come truth, absolutely. Give guarantee that good-hearted persons will be avalanche. Gods will protect you, and it's like kind of the deities, any kind of spirit, and everybody's can protect you. God, maybe it's the deities. And also it's like will receive the blessing of all the Buddha and Bodhisattvas naturally, automatically. You do not need to beg into them. You do not need to urge to them. You don't need to invocating to them. If you are generate good heart and you have warm-hearted, the Buddha and Bodhisattvas blessings automatically coming follow up you. You received. Everything you do will be positive. And at the moment of the death, you will not suffer. Absolutely. Partial, impartial compassions. Really the supreme precious compassion if you practice. Your death is nothing for you. You like kind of the destroyed the suffering of the death. Jetsan Malaripa says, I run on the mountain because of my fear or panic of the death. Many years I practice the process of the death. Now I lost the panic of the death. There's no anymore. That means Jetsan Malaripa, he developed the compassion, meditated on the compassion, realized the compassions. There's not anymore the death, afraid of the death. Particularly be enlightenment through that. Death is not really death. Death is the way of the enlightenment. In the future life you will always be the reborn in celestial human realm, until finally you attain the level of the perfect Buddhahood. Absolutely truth. And in the future lives you can be reborn in the place of the Dharma. You immediately encounter the teacher, maybe not the kind of teacher, perfect teacher. You immediately receive the pit instructions. You can continue to practice Dharma. And then it's like there's such a process of the enlightenment. Maybe it's you are really serious practice the Bodhicitta. Maybe you don't need to in the next life. In this moment, on the discussion, on this your shatter, maybe you will become enlightenment. But if you haven't got any Bodhicitta, whatever you done Dharma activities, no enhance by the Bodhicitta, maybe you make a retreat 100 years, recite mantras, billions, trillions. Day and night, you take the retreat, follow at the 4 sessions. But maybe not. They finally become kind of the ghost, demon. Maybe you can become rebirth. Therefore, it's a crucial, quintessential. Is Buddha's teaching is the compassion that we needed. Do not just rush off kind of run after the Dharma teachings or Dharmas. First, we should to take care of our mind, attitude, without examining your thoughts and feelings. Okay, I want to run after the teachings, practice things. The first, I need to examine my mind. My mind's thoughts is like kind of the violent feeling, thoughts, like detachment thoughts and hatred thoughts. Then it's even you are running after the teachings, practice things. It's make a lot of problems, nothing much benefit. And we need to transform, to change thoughts, violent, negative thoughts. Perform the great show of the virtuous activities. Prostration, circumambulation, prayer, recitation of the mantra, and so on. Each moment, all those kind of the practice things enhanced by the compassions. Instead, it is important to check your attitude, the thoughts, ideas, all the times, and to cultivate kind-hearted or the Bodhicitta. It is very important. Okay, before we can to start the arousing Bodhicitta, we can to rest 15 minutes 15 minutes. Wonderful. Thank you.